Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I am Maria.
I'm Gwen. Hi.
Hi, it has been 2 weeks this time, actually. I mean, it has been a pretty eventful 2 weeks, I feel like, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we like streamed Armor Stir like twice
Yeah.
since last time. I was working on some shit, but in a way that does not really reflect back on the podcast or any like sort of projects I'm working on. I was just figuring some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I guess most relevantly to what we do here, like there was a new season of anime that started.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there were like maybe a few shows that we talked about like last time we recorded, but like, everything has really got going in earnest since then.
Mm-hmm. So did you see anything in particular?
Right. So I mean, I think that like in many ways the big show of the season is Chainsaw Man, which unfortunately airs on the day that we record this podcast, and I usually do not actually get around to watching it on Tuesdays before. I guess it's only happened once. Like we only recorded on the same day that Chainsaw Man came out once, but like it interfaces with my schedule weirdly, and like I did not get around to watching the second episode before we recorded this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot speak to anything about that. So we are just kind of like at least this week doomed to be less topical than we could be, even if it is sort of the big topic.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw the first episode last week, and you saw the first episode last week, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. What did you think?
It's really hard to say with that first episode.
Yeah, I think it's very much the case where like it was a very like a very solid adaptation of that first chapter of the manga, right? But like so much of what makes like the manga like tick and work to me is not really present in that, so it is hard to really like draw a complete conclusion from it. I was left like a little bit skeptical. Even if I did largely enjoy it. I mean, obviously, I really liked the opening. I really like all of like Shingo Yamashita's openings. Basically, Shingo Yamashita is somebody that like we will talk about quite a bit later on this podcast, as he like eventually interfaces with Naruto. But I think he makes like very like distinctive opening sequences. I think that like he has like a very distinctive sense for like like lighting and compositing that like he has developed a lot over the years, and in a way that often like stands a little bit above the shows that he is working on.
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man is not the most extreme in that case. Like I think Chainsaw Man looks pretty solid in that regards, even if it is not hitting that particular high watermark. But like it is
Totally.
that opening is very cool. Chainsaw Man really seems like a show that they would have to try very hard to fuck up, like in the sense that like basically whatever they do, as long as it is like flashy in the right moments, like it is just going to be big on the momentum of how big Chainsaw Man is.
Yeah.
But like you can definitely have a show like that where like people like me have some quibbles, and I don't have like a non-zero amount of quibbles, right? Like I don't know, the thing I've been thinking about the most since that first episode aired, is that like I don't know, there is something about the action that I felt like a little bit like underwhelmed by, which is like kind of a disappointment to me specifically because I really like Tatsuya Yoshihara, who is the action director on that show, and who before that was like, at least to me, best known for his work on like Black Clover, which he like directed, and there is like. So the thing about Black Clover's anime adaptation, if you have not seen it, which would be very understandable to me, I mean, it is it is a lot of it was like 170 episodes or whatever of like perfectly acceptable shonen that nobody was getting that excited about.
I have seen all of it.
I know you have seen all of it.
I know. I just want to make sure everyone understands that I have seen all of it.
And but like the thing about like his work there, and like when that show is like really firing on all cylinders, there is like, and a lot of this is down to the particular production circumstances of Black Clover, but there's like a sort of like roughness and looseness and like just like a sense of like the show is kind of like bursting at the seams. The show is kind of like breaking to like the extent of which like there's this really like eclectic and like loose like pairing of like 2D animation and like CG environments and stuff in a way that I found like really fascinating. In a way I kind of was like, I don't know, I was kind of hoping to see like if not that exact thing, because a lot of that again was down to the circumstances of Black Clover being a kind of deprioritized show at PRO at the time. Like to an extent, which like Chainsaw Man was never going to be. But like I was still hoping there would be something that like was a little more rough-hewn feeling about the action, and it winds up like in that first episode, it winds up being like very, very clean. And I think there are like obviously some very like particular arcs to the motion and stuff that I don't know, like very like readably, immediately recognizably Yoshiharu's work in there, and in a way that is like still exciting to me. But I do not know. There was just something about it that was like a little too clean for my taste, and a little too clean for my image of like Chainsaw Man, and a little too clean from like what I hope from like the people involved on some level. Which is like I don't know. Maybe that is a very like particular like nitpicky thing of like, yeah, I kind of wish it was like a little bit more like this adaptation of a comic that everybody likes less, that way less people watched. But like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes that is just the reaction you have to a thing. You have to be true to that when you are talking about it on your podcast.
Mm-hmm. So there's new isekai shows that I've been watching too.
Okay.
There's two that I want to talk about.
All right. Yeah. Like, let me know what you've got.
The first one is the sword one, the one where the main isekai boy is reincarnated as a sword.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting a whole lot from that one. Like it is the one this season that has the most like weight put behind it, right? It has the I fucking you know me. I couldn't tell you the details about it, but like,
Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems like the one that has the most advantageous circumstances behind its production when you compare it to the others, is what you would say, perhaps.
Yeah. And it's good. Like I am enjoying it, right? Like I am like pleasantly surprised by like the premise, right? Because like you see the little cat girl, and you see her in like a slave collar and stuff, and you think, it's one of those.
There's a lot of those. That's scary.
Yeah. But like pleasant, like okay, like genuinely pleasant surprise. The first thing fucking Mr. the Isekai sword does is turn the slaver's head 180 degrees and free all the slaves.
All right. I mean, that is a good start. That is a step in the right direction.
Yeah. And it's just like it is like genuinely very surprising that like there is an extent to which the show is not about the isekai sword guy. The isekai sword guy is like a tool to like, well, he is a tool. He's a tool for killing stuff. He's a sword, and that's what swords do. Hi.
I heard somewhere that what was it? Bladed tools were not just for killing people. I forgot the quote that we like brought up specifically on this podcast earlier.
Yeah. No, but like the show is about like the main like the main like driver of the story in the show is the little like cat girl, right? Like it is about like her story. Like it is about like her ambitions and like her quest or whatever, right? To like get stronger and like uplift her people, and like 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 I'm not gonna get whole like into it too much, but like cat girls are it's like anime cat girls. You know how they are sometimes an oppressed class is an anime cat girl.
Right. Okay. That is what you're getting at. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the oppressed classes anime cat girls.
Right. And it's about like her getting stronger and stuff, and like it's like I don't know. It is refreshing to not have that character be the one who has like sworn loyalty to the main boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is nice to see the like, yeah, I was like reincarnated as like this super strong sword. Like I need a wielder. I'm gonna like put my weight behind someone who I believe in.
I've heard it called like the Sword Dad show. Is that kind of the vibe, or?
Oh, that's kind of the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other one is The Eminence in Shadow. Have you heard of this?
I know about this. Yeah.
Okay.
I have not watched it. I did not pick up any isekai things to watch this season.
Mm-hmm. I knew about this series before the show came out. And so like I knew what I was getting into, and so I stuck through a very rough first episode.
Okay. Wow, that is beautiful that they managed to get you through. Because I feel like there's a lot of shows you would just turn off after a bad first episode.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, it was a pretty rough first episode. It wasn't very bad. Well, I
Okay,
mean,
well, it wasn't like okay the it wasn't like one of those first episodes where you just sort of see the like underpinnings of the entire show and go like, okay, yep, this is not what I am here for.
right. So the thing about the first episode of The Eminence in Shadow is that it is anime original content that
Hmm.
takes place before the main character like dies and is reincarnated,
Okay.
and it's bad.
So, so like, is it just him going around in Japan or whatever, or like?
Yeah. It is him living his life in Japan.
Okay.
Okay. So let me break down what the actual show is first. And then I will explain what's like kind of rough about that first episode. So the show is about like an isekai boy who like died in high school or whatever, and is just like, okay, now's my chance. I'm gonna fucking like live out my like my power fantasy dreams in this like fantasy world, right? And while he's doing this, while he's like under like the cover of darkness, like sneaking out in the middle of the night to like fight bandits or whatever, and like larp his like cringe like, oh yeah, I'm the head of like a secret organization who's like going after this like other secret organization who's like bent on like world domination, and I'm actually the like secret cool guy who's like preventing the world from like being taken over by these like evil guys or whatever, right? He's like larping that,
Hmm.
and in doing so gets like a bunch of like followers, right? Like a bunch of like other people who are like, like bought in and like in on it, on his like stuff. The thing is, in this world, those fantasies are true. He is the only one in his whole organization who does not know this.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like a comedy thing, right? It's funny. It's like it's this kid like going like, okay, maybe I've taken this too far. I should stop playing around. But like also it's like a lot of fun, and like nobody's really getting hurt, right? Like I'm just playing around, and like I am doing good. Like I'm taking care of like this like bandit faction or whatever that I'm like up against, and like convincing all of my followers are like this evil organization, right?
Hmm.
Um, but like as long as I can keep doing that, and as long as it's not like interfering with my like real life as like a noble boy or whatever, like there's no reason not to there's no reason not to keep going, right?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the shit's just real, and I think it's pretty good. It's like a pretty good bit.
Okay.
Staying power, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the sort of thing where like you might just watch like 3 or 4 episodes from now and be like, okay, well, I've seen the joke, and I'm going to go watch something else.
Yeah, right. Um, the first episode, the one that takes place before he is reincarnated,
Hmm.
um, it has like the focus on like a different character, this like girl who he goes to high school with, and like it's just the kind of thing where it's weird and sexual assaulty in a way I don't like.
Ah.
Right, because like it is about her like brushing off this dude, being like, oh, fucking, he's like kind of a loser or whatever, right? Um,
Hmm.
and then and then on her way home from school, she's like, I don't remember the exact circumstances, but she like missed her ride or whatever, and she's like walking home in the dark, and she gets like grabbed in an alley, grabbed and taken and like held for ransom, and like the dudes are gonna, stuff, and then like this guy comes in, and he's just like, dressed up in like a ski mask or whatever, and like hits the dudes with crowbars and stuff, and like kicks their asses, and it's just like, yeah, blah 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 blah, like I'm a hero guy, to show that this like just to show that this is like a guy that like likes to like larp being a hero.
Hmm. It
But
just
before they get into the part where he's like in a fantasy world, but weird.
yeah, I mean, like it seems like well, first of all, it seems like you are like putting in the legwork of like explaining your premise so that you can then explain your premise again.
Mm-hmm.
And like second, it just seems like an unnecessarily like grimy and like not grounded, but like slightly more grounded than the shit they're going to do. Like way to communicate that same information. It seems like a really weird choice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the next morning, he's hit by a truck.
That was always happening to anime boys.
It's always happening to anime boys who wake up in other worlds. It's so fucking true. Oh, god damn it.
What?
I didn't tell my getting kicked in the next story.
Oh, that's fine. Do you want to tell you getting kicked in the next story?
I have to tell my getting kicked in the next story.
Okay.
So earlier today, I was in a fight. 10 guys.
10 guys.
That's what I said, Maria. 10 guys.
Yeah.
Each and every one of them kicked me in the neck super hard, and that's why my voice is fucked up.
That is so sad. I'm glad you are alive and do not have a broken neck or anything.
Yeah, like a weaker shinobi would have a broken neck right now, but I'm super tough and strong, actually.
Okay, well that is great.
Also, I might have the flu right now, unrelated to the voice.
Okay. Well, congratulations on winning or at least surviving your fight, and sorry about your flu.
I killed 2 of them.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they're like mega dead.
Okay. Yeah, alright. How does this... I wonder how does this bit play without the knowledge that we did this, like, more involved, like, yesterday?
I don't know.
I actually have, like, a few more things to talk about if you do not mind that this first segment is, like, super fucking long.
Yeah, I don't fucking care.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I talked about Chainsaw Man, but I am not the most on the, like, big Chainsaw Man, like, hype thing. I mean, part of that is just my general, like, you know, like my general like resistance to like Mappa as a studio, which has all sorts of like, you know, like pretty reprehensible business practices. I mean, you know, like ultimately I am not putting any money in their hands, right?
Yeah.
And I will like watch the work of like artists who's like you know I have like an appreciation for, but like you know I am not excited, but that's part of it is just like the but part of it is just like you know my sort of like I feel like I am learning to disentangle myself a little bit from like the extreme seasonal like hype. This is the new best show ever thing, and like part of it is I'm wondering if this is just the season where I just like tip over into being like a slice of life sicko instead. Because you know Chainsaw Man had like a pretty solid first episode, I guess. But you know what I'm really fucking here for this season is like do it yourself.
I was hoping we would talk about do it yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is like it is just a fucking delight. It is just like
no, it's so good.
It's so good. It's just like cute and comfortable, and it's like really, really fucking pretty. Like the character designs are like phenomenal. It is just like it has like a really like surprisingly intricate and like well realized like visual setting. It is like it all just like coheres together really well. Like you just sit down and like the illusion of animation is like really working and happening on a level that is not like necessarily typical of like modern television animation, right? Like it is just like a really fucking nice time. It is just really pleasant and comfortable. Girls are gonna make benches and shit. It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I don't have like the most like like it feels weird to be like, oh, yeah, this is the thing I really like after I spent so much longer talking about Chainsaw Man that I don't know. I guess I have not developed my my repertoire for talking about shows that aren't about guys hitting each other as much. So maybe that is something to develop.
Mm-hmm.
The other show I've like really been enjoying, like really like pulled me with the first episode is Bocchi the Rock, which is like it is the sort of thing where you look at it and it's like, okay, this feels like a very standard anime that exists. You know, there is a girl, she is shy, she wants to like have friends, she like picks up like the guitar and like figures out she plays the guitar good enough she can make friends, and then like eventually she gets like roped into being in a band. You know, it is like it is like a low stakes like gag anime kind of thing, but like I was just like in both of the episodes that are out right now, I've just been like very impressed by like the like execution of it, like just like a really strong sense of timing, like a great visual rhythm. It is just like it's just like constantly like moving in a bunch of like little appealing ways. It is there's just like a great attention to like detail. It is just like I don't know, like it is just like some of the most fun I have like watching anime out of like any of the things I'm watching this season. I think it is just like Sometimes you just see the girls and like, yeah, I mean, some of these are like kind of stock jokes about like an anime girl being shy, and some of it is like much more character stuff about like the specific way these anime girls are weird, and ultimately it's just like, yeah, I mean, that is what anime can be sometimes, and if you were just like fucking knocking it out of the park every week at like making that look like unreasonably good, then like, hey, I'm gonna be there for that, right? Like,
Yeah, this is one that I have not seen yet, but I have been like meaning to. So like I'm definitely gonna check it out.
there's a few other things I can touch on like really quick. Like, I've been I've started watching the new season of Mob, and like Mob is like fucking great as always. Like, it is
Hmm.
not like it is always a show that's going to go like a little more like crazy, a little further into the season than it is in the first few episodes. But like, it is just kind of like historically a very blessed production, and like it is just like like by all accounts that's going to continue to be the case this season. And I'm going to be excited to keep watching that. I've been watching Blue Lock, which is like a sports anime about like a fucking like soccer death game to create the ultimate self-centered asshole soccer player. Um, which is like pretty fun in the sense of like, I like sports anime, all right, and like if you come to me with a pitch of like, well, this is a sports anime, but like, what if all of the boys were awful and had bad vibes? And like that can be pretty fun sometimes. It is not a very impressive show visually.
Hmm.
It is like, I don't know, like it is kind of unremarkable a lot of the time. It is definitely the sort of thing where it's like, yeah, I will watch this first season, and then like after it ends, I will like either pick up the manga or stop thinking about it, depending on how much I like it. And like I probably will not bother if they like make a second season of the anime or whatever, because like I don't know, like it is there, it is serviceable. And I bet I could read the comic faster than I could watch it, but like sometimes it's easier to start watching something than it is to start reading something.
Yeah.
I think that was basically what I had to say this time.
All
But
right.
like, so yeah, this has been a pretty long first segment, but like, we had shit to talk about.
Yeah, we had shit to talk about. The next one will be totally empty, just bone fucking dry.
Well,
Don't hold me to that, but
I mean, we could talk about our shit. We just don't know.
yeah, we just don't know. You ready to get into the episodes then?
Yeah, I am ready for that.
Episode 110, Formation: The Sasuke Retrieval Squad. Izuno and Kotetsu find Sakura passed out on a bench. They go to tell Tsunade what happened with Sasuke, and she has them fetch Shikamaru. She puts him in charge on the mission to go get Sasuke, and since there aren't any Chunin or Jonin to spare, has him put together a team of the strongest available Genin in the next 30 minutes. But also insists he bring along Naruto. Naruto and Shikamaru run around recruiting and end up with Choji and Kiba before running into Neji, congratulating Lee on a successful surgery. Lee's bummed about not getting to go, but it only pushes him to recover faster. Neji heads out with the boys.
Right, so like, I mean, before we get like into the episodes, like I want to briefly touch on the fact that like this is another Masahiro Murata and Chikara Sakurai episode.
Mm-hmm.
We last saw on the Goddess the Gotta know Kakashi Sensei's True Face thing, that whole thing. This is a much more restrained like ordeal. Like it is but both like like less flashy and like less full of like. I mean, like, there's just not a lot of like deviation from the source material. There's a few things we'll touch on, but like it is like mostly it is mostly just like a pretty straightforward adaptation of what was in the comic this time around, and it does not seem to have the room to get like particularly crazy with it. I mean, like it is perhaps not the most suited to like Murata's particular like brand of jokey bullshit. And also it doesn't really like wind up leading to his other brand of like gloomy like vaguely horror shit. So it's kind of like winds up being a mostly normal episode in spite of the like slightly more stacked than usual crew.
Mm-hmm.
Or like slightly more like like Tetsuya Takeuchi, who's like a fucking great animator on the show, is on this episode, but like it is like a pretty understated scene of like Tsunade like waking up at her desk as opposed to like any of his like flashier work in the past. But yeah, so the episode starts. Izumo and Kotetsu, run to Sakura, who's just been like on a bench all night, which So to be sort of raises the question of like, okay, right, like I know the Leaf is like very understaffed right now, right? But if this is the one path out of town, the fact that it is like several hours later that like is the first anybody that is hearing about any of this is very shit is really bad here, I guess.
Yeah.
They figure out what's going on. They like rush over to like report to Tsunade about it. Tsunade hears that like Sasuke is gone. She like thinks about like Orochimaru and like what he could want. There's like a line in my subs where she calls him a pervert, which is like I guess he is.
Yeah, I mean, like Orochimaru, like it just is a pervert.
He just is a pervert. I can't fault them for that one. I'm sorry. You didn't want to say about your Orochimaru being a pervert?
No, I was just gonna say like fair, like me too.
Uh, meanwhile, Shikamaru is just going about his morning at his house. He is just like, God, it is unbelievable how, like, you need to like keep Shikamaru away from women with like a barrier or something because he just cannot be like even remotely normal about it at all. He's just like, damn, Dad, your wife fucking sucks. Why'd you marry such a shitty woman? Because she's like just, I don't know, she's just kind of existing in his like line of sight. And Shikaku doesn't really have any like. Shikaku doesn't really have anything to say other than like, yeah, I mean, like sometimes you don't like a girl much, but sometimes she smiles, and that's just what love is, and that is the vision of love that is passed down in the Nara clan, I suppose. It's grim.
Yeah, it's not good. Love is actually so much more beautiful than that.
Love is so much more beautiful than that. Oh my
I
god.
know. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Maria,
Yeah, Gwen?
I love you so much.
I love you so much. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I would never like complain about you and then use that complaint to create like a sweeping statement about women. You can rely on that from me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Right now, Shikamaru like he gets the word from like he gets the word that Tsunade is looking for him. So he goes to her office. He gets informed what's up with Sasuke. I think that this is a much more fun Shikamaru scene than the one that immediately precedes it because he's like kind of a huge loser here.
Yeah.
He walks into his office. He hears about this mission, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I mean, like, yeah, this mission will be easy, Tsunade. You just give me like some tuning and joning to work under me. It'll be great." And she's like, "I can't do that. Like, kid, if I could fucking put tuning and joning on this mission, you think you would fucking be here?" But like he doesn't really think about that. He's just like, "Oh yeah, obviously the most efficient thing to do is to have the strong guys that I should be allowed to order around now that I have my promotion."
Yeah, if there was a single other tuning,
Yeah.
they would be in charge.
Like already guys could just fucking like walk in and out of the village without like any fucking hindrance. So like if they said any of the like few remaining Jonin who are around, like somebody could just blow up the whole goddamn thing without even trying. So it's got to be a bunch of fucking kids on this one. The other thing that I think is like really funny here is that like after he like after he's like heard the parameters of the mission, he's like heading out. He like does this thing where he's like, yeah, I mean, I guess I know Sasuke enough, so like, yeah, I'll go and handle something. He's like trying to be like all cool about the fact that he is just like accepting the orders that his boss gave him.
Yeah,
just like, you
fucking dweeb.
It is like so much like more fun and refreshing when Orochimaru is just like not Orochimaru, Shikamaru. It's so much more fun and refreshing when Shikamaru is just like this weird fucking dweeb who like is not actually that cool than when he is doing his like misogynistic tirade shtick.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, he gets like, instructed to like get as many Genin as he can before he leaves the village. And still to get Naruto, so he goes and gets Naruto. Naruto is like, fuck. Sasuke was like actually really sad, and fucked up. I thought things were gonna be cool. He goes with them. He goes to get Choji, and I wound up being pretty annoyed about like the way they changed this Choji scene from the manga, because in the manga Shikamaru just goes to his friend's house and is like, "Hey, you're like come on this mission with me," and Choji's like, "Yeah, okay." And in the anime, they do this whole bit where like Shikamaru has to like eat chips outside of his house to like bait him into coming out, and it's just like it's just like a fucking like cheap and empty gag, and it just feels so frustrating after like the previous like batch of episodes where we had like them just like establishing that they are like friends who like trust and believe in each other, and
yeah, and like later in this batch of episodes, how they're like friends who like trust and believe in each other.
Yeah, like it's just so fucking like weird to have this like incredibly demeaning scene like out of nowhere where Shikamaru just like has to fucking like lure Choji out like he's a fucking animal. Like,
yeah, it's rough.
Like I know that Choji gets like limited opportunities to have dignity as the fat character who stands around and eats, but like, for the love of God, you could at least not take some of them away when you're adapting it.
Yeah, they and then they're talking about how they want Shino. They should go get Shino. See if Shino's available. Kiba shows up and is just like, nope, sorry. Shino's hanging out with his dad.
How fucking funny it would be if Shino was just not actually busy and Kiba was like, no, I want the cool mission.
Yeah, I went to go check on him and like Shino's not doing anything.
Yeah, God. She was just hanging out. He doesn't even know Sasuke left. The like possibility of the Shino Sasuke friendship like drifts further and further away from us every moment.
Right. Oh my god. No, I was just gonna say, like, fucking alternate world where fucking Shino went on that mission. Sasuke's normal.
Sasuke's normal. It's that easy. You just gotta get Shino in there. But yeah, but yeah, like the biggest changes to this episode are like basically all in the scene of like Shikamaru and Naruto like pulling the team together, and like I had my complaints about the Choji stuff, but like generally speaking, they try to like make it flow a little like more directly into each other. In the manga, it is a lot of like, okay, we go here and this person's here, and we ask them to join the team, and there's not a lot of like connective tissue. And here they try to like bring that together like a little bit more, right? Like by having like Kiba run into them as they're like talking about Shino, and like, you know, in the manga they like run into Lee, and Lee is like, oh, I have somebody who should join your team, and then like the next page Neji is just there, and like in here we have like, I don't know, like I thought it was like pretty nice that like Neji and Lee were just like hanging out, and like Neji is like being there and like helping him around.
Yeah, I love it when boys can be friends.
Yeah, like I mean, because like so much of what we saw, like so much of the context we've seen of like Lee and Neji's like relationship is like flashback stuff to when, you know, the team was forming, when Neji was just being like a huge piece of shit, and like it is nice to see this like, you know, like this moment like later on where like they've managed to mellow out a little bit, and like Neji is just like helping his friend around like while he's recovering from surgery.
Yeah.
Like I just think it is nice to give like Lee like more of presence in the scene, and like Neji more of a presence in the scene in a way that like does something for both those characters. I also will say that, like in the so I have made a lot of claims about like the way they reordered like the stuff with Lee to like place the timeline of his surgery somewhere else, and many of those have been incorrect.
Yeah.
But I can confidently say that like in this scene in the anime, like Neji's like, oh yeah, Haley, I heard your operation was a success because you're not dead. That's great. And like in the manga, like that has not happened yet. So they at the very least, like they at the very least reordered things so that like Lee did not like it was not like this, like, you know, like literally hours after Lee gets off the fucking operating table that he's gonna head out and like help with this mission.
Yeah, it is merely days.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, then the boy squad is all gathered, and they're ready to head out, and we're ready to head on to the next half of the episode, unless you have more you want to say.
Nope, that's about it. Shikamaru lays out the marching order and gives everyone a role in the pursuit. Before they depart, Sakura arrives. Shikamaru tells her she can't come along. She cries and tells Naruto to bring Sasuke home. Naruto promises he'll do it. Rock Lee and Sakura watch the boys head out, and Sakon tells Sasuke that in order to progress, Sasuke has to die.
Okay. So yeah, everybody's about to like leave through the main gate, and like Naruto is like, yeah, everybody, let's go, because he is like just sort of naturally being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna lead this because we're gonna rescue my friend. And Shikamaru's like, hey, wait, I'm the fucking boss here, and like there's just this moment of like everybody being like, okay, but like Shikamaru kind of isn't shit, right? You know, Choji is there to like tell everybody to believe in his friend, and he's just like, okay, fine, if you're so fucking good, tell us how to like order ourselves as we like leave the village. And like Shikamaru like runs down a plan of like, yeah, here's how we'll be like moving through the forest, like best deal with like enemies as we run across them. It is the scene went out to be kind of fascinating to me in this like basically exclusively in the sense that like this is a moment that exists, so everybody can be like, oh yeah, Shikamaru like has a like is able to like figure out what to do with his team. Isn't it so impressive that he can make like a great formation of all of us? That like makes the best use of our abilities, but it does not actually like there isn't a payoff to him doing this.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
Like he's just be like, yeah, okay, you know, like Kiba, you take the lead, and Neji, you use your backhand cover from behind, and Naruto, you be ready to like react quickly, to like attacks from either direction because you're in the middle, and like that just doesn't happen. They are not attacked when they are like moving. By the time they run into the enemies, it is just this. It's just the scene that is like trying to be convincing enough to like let us, the audience, believe like, yeah, this would probably work. But yeah, we don't really get any sign of that. I mean, I guess what he's saying is like broadly makes sense, right? It's just
Yeah, right. Like it's a good marching order, and like it does take everyone's like shit into account, right? It just doesn't come up in the actual show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like it is going to be an arc about everybody like breaking off and fighting their individual guy, and not about like a 5v5 like fucking MOBA team fight.
Yeah.
But like having convinced everybody that like he knows what he's doing, Shikamaru like launches into speeches like, all right, so I know I think Sasuke kind of sucks and is annoying, but it is our job. And so even if we hate this guy's ass, being appropriately like patriotic and committed to our duties means we have to go and fucking get him back. And everybody's like, yeah, okay, that's great.
Yeah, that works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Fucker. I'm just excited for this kid to figure out he's gay.
Shikamaru, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Shikamaru figures out he's gay, he's gonna cool it on women a lot.
Who is going to explain to Shikamaru what being gay is?
This is why Naruto takes place in the bad universe. Where fucking Shino and Sasuke don't get to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
Boyfriends.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, once they're a thing, Shikamaru's just like, huh. And, cools it about women.
Maybe the fact that I don't like women isn't a problem with women.
Yeah, but, then like Sasuke comes out as a girl and like complicates things a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
And
but like, this doesn't affect Shikamaru. He already knows he likes boys by that point, right?
Yeah,
like, maybe things are weird with Shino and Sasuke, but like,
No, I still I think they still like each other enough, right? Like, I don't know.
All right.
I don't think it's that big. Honestly, a fucking they them Shino is pretty strong in my opinion.
They them Shino is pretty strong. But yeah, so Shikamaru has given his speech, and the like swelling music is playing, and then like Sakura shows up, and the music just cuts out, and she's like, "Hey, can I help?" And Shikamaru is like, "No, you don't have any attacks. Go home."
True, fair.
Which is like yes, I guess so,
like,
right?
Like not her fault, but also yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, in the terms that the show has set, like yeah, I guess it is like the strategically correct decision to not have Sakura be there, because like they have not done the legwork to make her be a person who could contribute to any situation. I mean, sometimes she can pick up like the mast of a ship or whatever and swing it around, but they don't have any boats in the jungle, so the forest.
They have trees.
The jungle, but they have trees. Yeah, but that's different. It's a whole different form factor. It's like a little more awkward to pick up. You have to train harder to pick up the tree. And like there's other trees that get in the way.
I wish Sakura was anything.
Yeah, right.
Like I wish they committed to Sakura like working under Tsunade like sooner, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wish this was when there was just when she was just like, wait, I've been learning some medical stuff from Tsunade. Let me come. Like, what if you get hurt?
Yeah, right. Like anything, but instead Shikamaru was like, well, we already know that crying at him doesn't work, so like you should just stay home.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, man. And like the bat is like really more directed at like Masashi Kishimoto than Shikamaru at this point. Like obviously Shikamaru has been written with a problem with women, but this goes a little bit beyond it.
I wish Shikamaru could be like less of an authorial mouthpiece.
God. But yeah, so like Sakura is like still not totally satisfied with, but like Naruto's like, don't worry, I'll go get him back. Everything's gonna be okay. And like Sakura is like moved by this, and there's like she starts thinking about like Naruto as I always understood her, and there's this flashback to like the time from like the very early episode where like the third episode of Naruto, where like Naruto is disguised as Sasuke and asks Sakura like, "Hey, what do you think of Naruto?" And she's like, "Oh, I hate his ass. I think he sucks and is annoying." Which, like, first of all, it is very funny to me how often the like Sakura flashbacks involve that specific episode, because there's one of the only episodes in the show where like her relationship to the boys is like in focus at all.
Mm-hmm.
But second, like it, like I was like I'm watching some like what am I like when I am seeing this flashback, and what I like is what I am supposed to take here, that like what am I supposed to take away from this if not like an acknowledgement that like just like Sakura did not like Naruto and was annoyed by him, Sasuke does not like Sakura and is annoyed by her, because that seems like the clearest parallel to what has been like to these events.
Yeah.
But like I also know that like they're like Sakura and Sasuke are gonna get married, so like I mean I don't know, it can't be trying to communicate that really.
The like relationship writing in this show is just a mess.
It's like, why even fucking bother?
Yeah, no, like it's just a disaster. Like it's so rough. Like literally, it would be better if like none of the characters ended up together. They just had like,
there's like, we were all fucking stupid when we were 12.
Yeah, we were all so fucking stupid when we were 12, and they each had like a partner that was just like not a character from the show.
God.
They were just like, yeah, there's just like, yeah, we had some years to calm down, and we met new people.
Right, like there's like bits like a Sakura here being like, Naruto has always understood me. He's always been so nice to me or whatever. But also we know that's not building up to any like to like any like connection between them, because the I'm just thinking about the bit like way later in Naruto at the fucking like 5 Kage summit where like Sakura is like, "Hey Naruto, I've always been in love with you," and Naruto's like, "No, you haven't. Stop. That's wrong. You love Sasuke. Stop talking to me." And that just resolves it. So it's just like this. It just feels like this isn't communicating anything or building to anything at all. It's just weird.
Yeah, it is just weird, and like I think it's aimless, right? Like there is no way at this point in like the writing of Naruto that they knew that like Sasuke and Sakura would be like the thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, like it just was. It doesn't really seem like it's something that was like considered at all. Like maybe there was like an editor going like, "Hey, you should like put Sakura in here to like increase the drama," but there's no consideration for like what that drama is or what it means to anybody. So it's just like it just winds up being like a scene where like. Like everybody in the show just like expresses a lot of like the fan opinions you got around like this time of like, oh, Sakura is just the useless one, right? And it's just like
there's a fucking reason for that, and it's not Sakura's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I just wish someone fucking sat him down like really early and was just like, okay, you need to decide what is going on with like the relationships with Sakura. Like you just need to pick one right now and stick with it and right to that end.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know that he would have been like Masashi Kishimoto would have been any good at that. But like maybe it would have been a little bit less of a mess than this.
Yeah, like it would have at least been a little bit more like directed, like less floundering.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, they fucking depart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what else is there to say?
Yeah, no, I mean that's basically it, right? Like fucking Sakon is like very misleading. Sasuke's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to die now," and then we go to the next episode, right?
Yep. Episode 111: Sound versus Leaf. Sakon and the gang pressure Sasuke into taking drugs as the boys are in hot pursuit. They explain that the pills will awaken Sasuke's curse mark, but also kill him, so they need to seal him away to put him in a TF coma instead. Sasuke takes the pill, and the Sound 4 put him in a barrel before setting out. Genma and Raido, the face scar Jonin, face off against the Sound 4 and get their asses kicked off screen.
Sorry, I'm just still thinking about you and just sort of like Sakon and the gang pressure Sasuke into taking drugs. Like they take him to, like out to like under a bridge somewhere, like, "Hey, smoke weed," until he does it.
Yeah. I mean that's what happens, right?
Like, yeah, probably.
That's like the vibe I got from it.
It wasn't really how I was thinking about it, but like I guess so. Um,
Yeah, take these pills. We've all done it.
well done. We got so strong from these pills. It made me feel like I could do anything. It made me feel so good. You're gonna be so happy if you take these pills, Sasuke. uh, yeah, so the sound for like they're explaining the details about the curse mark and taking the pills and everything, and they're like, yeah, I mean, when you take the pill, it's gonna kill you for a little bit, but it's okay. We'll do our like special barrier ninjutsu. We'll keep you sealed in there. Like we'll prevent you from dying. And Sasuke's like, are you sure you're like good enough for that? And like, I love Kidomaru is like, hey, look, we're fucking experts at this. Like Orochimaru's guys. Look, we put the fucking third Hokage in that cube. He did not get out of that cube. So like, you can trust us. And Sasuke's like, yeah, I guess he didn't get out of that cube.
He never got out of that cube.
No, he extremely did not get out of that cube. Like throughout this scene, like as like Sasuke is like being pressured into taking the pill. There's like there's this like really fucking like extremely clumsy visual metaphor where like the camera like zooms in on Sasuke's curse mark and like a leaf like floats in and like covers it as he's like thinking about it, and then when he like takes the pill, it like zooms in again to like show the leaf blowing away from the curse mark, and it's like, come on, guys.
It's really fucking silly.
It's just like unbelievable. Like it's just like taking up the whole fucking shot. There's like a big whooshing noise to like make sure you get that like, oh shit, like Sasuke is like torn between his like pursuit of power and his loyalty to the leaf and his friends in the leaf. It's like, yeah, I mean, like I'm watching this show and like this isn't like this is like a subtle thing you're doing, and it's not like a
yeah. We're all watching the show. We get it.
Like it just doesn't it's not something. It does not have like the sense of style to like carry being like this like blaringly unsubtle thing. So it's just like it just like makes me laugh like whenever like when it happens.
Yeah, it just makes me imagine Sasuke getting a fucking leaf stuck down his shirt.
Right, because it like has to like blow into like his collar and just like sit there for like a minute. And he's just like, he's like itching kind of, but he's like having this very serious conversation. He doesn't want to like fish around behind his neck to like pull a leaf out.
God.
Man, he takes the pill. They all like rush and like put him in the fucking like barrel, and then and they get moving. I feel like this episode is like very like I don't feel like this was like just very visually awkward. And like so some of that is like stuff like the really like the thing with the leaf that we talked about. And some of it is just like. I feel like there's a lot of like really like overdone like digital blur effects and stuff, like when they're all like sealing Sasuke in there. There's a lot of like there's just like a repeating shot where like there's like this like tree background like as like zooming past like as like all of like Shikamaru's team was like jumping through the trees, but like it's not like timed or like synced particularly well, so they're like when they're like landing, they're not like really like touching down on anything. They're just kind of like floating through this like background is just like moving really fast, and it's kind of jarring. It's just like the drawings in this episode are like totally serviceable or whatever, but like so many of like the decisions about how to like present them, I just found like hugely distracting in a way I don't usually. Yeah, so like meanwhile, there's some leaf joning coming back from a mission. There's like it's like Raido and Genma and Shizune and like an extremely even more rando guy named Iwashi.
Yeah.
Like Raido and Genma like hear some shit's up. They like head out to check in on it. Shizune is like, I'm fucking too important to go a job like this, and Iwachi is like, I don't fucking matter enough for it to mean anything if I just get killed by these guys. So I'm just gonna they're just the ones that stay back.
Yeah, I mean, like I describe Iwashi in a later in the next part as the fourth guy that's there.
He really is the fourth guy that's there has ever been.
Right.
Like I was like surprised when they gave him a name in like the next part of the episode, because he just didn't look like anybody.
Oh shit, we gotta check.
What do we got? Oh shit, we gotta check if Iwashi ever shows up again.
I'm sure he does, because he is probably just in the rotation of fucking like background jonin. Oh yeah, he's in a few episodes.
Yeah, I mean he has apparently been in the show before.
Yeah,
he was one of the guys that showed Anko the video of like Gar passing the tuning exams apparently.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. All right, so he is not the least guy that has ever showed up. Like
No.
he's gonna keep hanging
Yeah,
around and
Sakura's
not doing
childhood
anything.
bully is still the least guy.
Okay, yeah, they like rush off to like run into the sound form. But yeah, like right on again like rush off to go run into the sound four and like again like more of these like kind of awkward like decisions on presenting things. Like when they're like going to like intercept them, there's like just this really like there's like this really like awkward cut where they like rush in to meet up with them and they like just stop completely
Yeah.
and like and like they talk for a bit of like trying to like right again we're like trying to figure out what's going on here and like all of them like okay we have to like fight these guys because they're like sound people and like Orochimaru was doing his shit. So they all like just start like levitating like sort of into the air and like another awkward cut and the camera like pans up and like starts spinning around really fast. It's just like a there's just so many like choices in how to like frame shit in this episode that are just like weird to me and like just kind of like take me out of it.
Yeah, it's super
I don't
weird.
know.
Also I want to talk about where Raido and Genma get owned.
Yeah.
Where like they fight and like we don't actually see the outcome yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is just like the clash starts and then we cut and then we see like the other two coming upon the scene and they look like oh no, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, we see the first and only time Genma does anything a little bit cool.
Oh shit! What was the first time again? Was anything a little bit cool?
He blocks a thrown kunai by spitting on his toothpick.
Okay, yeah, all right. That's a fun trick you can do once per fight.
Yeah, right.
Let's just like picking out like taking out a new toothpick, like mid fight. She's got like a bad habit of like chewing on his fucking senbone.
Yeah, I mean, like that's basically the situation, right?
Uh,
I'm sorry, I feel like I cut you off.
no, that was. I don't have anything to say after that.
Okay.
I'm like basically done with this half of the episode. You know.
All right, yeah. Let's move on then. Shizune finds Raido and Genma and starts healing them. Iwashi, the fourth guy that's there, wants to take off after them, but Genma tells him he'll only get mega killed. Kiba lays out what he can tell about those events from smells. They decide against checking out the scene so they don't lose any time. The boys start running into traps, and Tsunade talks Lee out of hurting himself from training too soon after surgery. Naruto almost triggers a trap that's a lot sneakier than the rest, so Neji uses Byakugan and spots the sound guys nearby. The Sound Four are winded from the Jonin fight and using their curse marks. Neji and Shikamaru sneak up on the gang, but Sakan throws a bomb kunai, and they almost get caught in the blast.
Okay. Yeah, so she's gonna like catches up to Raido and Genma. They're like extremely beat up. There's all these craters all over the place. They've got fucking like shuriken and kunai sticking out of them. They're just doing bad. Um, this is like our big scene where we're trying to establish that, like, yeah, the Sound Four are like really strong. They can like totally defeat these two Jonin who we've like never seen do anything. And like I mean, I guess like. I mean, if I'm like bought enough into the world, but like, oh yeah, these guys just made Jonin, they must be at least a little bit strong. Then like, sure, I guess it means something that like the Sound Four defeated them. But like, these aren't guys whose like abilities we know. These aren't guys who've like seen win a fight or anything.
No.
And the other thing like is like wound up being kind of distracting to me is that like for having fought some guys with like some very specific power sets, the way they are like beat up is so fucking generic.
Yeah.
There's just no effort like not given to like trying to like foreshadow how like oh yeah there's no like fucking spider webs or shit around. There's no like I don't know. It's just like the most like standard like yep these guys lost a fight here visuals. Which feels like it is almost like missing a scene like missing like an attempt at communicating something, especially as like I forget which of the two it is that says this, but one of them is like, yeah, their jutsu is like beyond the level of shinobi or whatever, and it's like, but like, well, like there isn't anything like it doesn't look like anything fucking weird happened here, right? Like it's just like I don't know, someone did a big punch or something. They threw some knives at you, and like I get that you like I don't know on some level you're like being like cagey about like the full like power sets of these guys so they can be like revealed through the course of the fight, but I don't know. I feel like you could maybe have done something a little more character fear to like. There's just like a lack of specificity,
Yeah, right. You don't have to like give away what the enemies do to like have evidence, right? That like upon like a rewatch, you can go like, oh yeah, it's that guy's stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, yeah, there can be spider webs. We already know he's a spider web guy. That's not like new
Yeah, right.
information.
Yeah, and like I don't know, it just feels really like really underwhelming, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, like meanwhile, like Kiba smells blood. He's like, okay, shit. It seems like a fight happened. You know, Shikamaru is like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna like start moving a little more slowly now because like they've like set up traps. Like seem to be waiting. So our like, our again like the moving battle formation phase of this whole thing has like ended. With that coming up, like we talked about before, and they're just like getting ready to like sneak up on them and encounter them right that way, right?
mm-hmm.
I think the thing is fun in the scene is like Naruto is like talking about like, yeah, I can't wait to run into these guys. I'm gonna use my like an awesome new jutsu that I have, and Kiba's just like internally like, shit, he's got a new jutsu. God damn it.
Yeah, Kiba's really fun here.
Yeah.
I love the opportunity to like give Kiba more shit. I like Kiba a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like in general, like I think this arc has like such a strong concept for like, yeah, okay, we're taking these like, I mean, like you know, Naruto's here obviously, but here also here's like these four other characters, and we're like, you know, I mean, and they're going on this mission together. Like, I mean, obviously, like I don't know, like when you have like a cast full of like a bunch of guys like this, it's just fun to put them into a position where they have to do their thing, and like it's just not a thing that Naruto does very much, like especially not in like what's in the manga.
Yeah,
You know, like a lot of the. A lot of the anime original stuff that's coming after this arc is going to be like Naruto going on missions with like different combinations of these guys, but like you know this is like the one time where like a lot of these people get to be involved and like have it be a big deal, and so like it's kind of nice in that respect.
yeah, totally. I'm like actually really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
God, the only thing that could have made this better
Mm-hmm.
is if they brought Hinata along instead of fucking Neji.
God.
Right, because then it would be fun if they were like playing into like, oh yeah, Shikamaru and Choji like know each other really well, but like also Kiba and Hinata know each other really well, and like Naruto's kind of like feeling like left out as like, oh yeah, like I'm not like that close to anybody else in this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that honestly could be really fun. Like, I don't mind like what we get with like, you know, getting a little bit more of like Lee and Neji's relationship by having Lee be the guy like, hey, yeah, you should take Neji with you or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like, it would be nice if you and I got to do something. Like,
Yeah.
you're not wrong there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if like any girl got to come along,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because then at least then Shikamaru could save face and just be like, look, Sakura, it's not because you're a girl.
Right. Because like, I bet Shikamaru and Choji know that Ino isn't doing shit today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, back in the village, we get a scene with like Rock Lee and Tsunade. In the manga, this is when we get the scene that like last week I said was like an anime original. It turns out it was not. It was just a little bit further than the manga. That's fucking egg on my face.
Licks it off.
Thank you. But like you know, and like I am not going to make any declarations about if this is in the manga or not. I did not actually like, wind up looking ahead to check. Like I would totally believe that it is. But like we're talking about it here because like this is a podcast about the anime primarily. That is what we like the one thing we both watched. Yeah, like I like wind up liking this scene like on its own anyway, right? Like I don't know, like it's just kind of like a nice moment for Rock Lee and for Tsunade, right? Because like I mean, it like it is nice to see Tsunade like step in here and be like, hey, you like I can tell you're pushing yourself too hard. You're gonna hurt yourself if you do this. Like I know that like training is important to you. I know that like fucking like trying to like work towards this is important to you. Like I know this like matters to you to the extent that you like took on the risk of the surgery, but like part of taking it seriously is just like knowing to not do shit sometimes, which is like you know I mean it's just
yeah.
It's just a nice perspective, and like I mean, you know, it's hard to say how much it means in the broader scheme of things, right? Because we all know Rock Lee is gonna fucking head out of here and fight a Bone Man.
Oh yeah, he is.
But like you know, at least like in the moment, this like it's not really gonna take basically, right? Like, like he's going to do something like significantly more strenuous than climbing a flight of stairs, like immediately after this. But like you know, in the moment. And the moment of the scene is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I guess ultimately what that speaks to is that it is basically impossible to get Rock Lee to not do some ridiculous risky shit, and it's just gonna happen. and you just gotta try and manage which of those things that he's gonna do, and like maybe this wasn't a win for Tsunade in that category then.
That's okay. The Rock Lee has special powers.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to elaborate. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, back in the forest. The team is like slowed down further. They're like on foot now. They're like walking on the floor of the forest. Like Neji is like starting to get like a sense of like where specifically they are with his like Byakugan. Naruto almost like steps on like a tripwire, and like Shikamaru has to like save him with his like shadow possession, which I think is like a pretty cute scene. I like that like in that scene, Shikamaru is just like hanging on to like Choji's scarf to like balance, and Choji's just like fucking standing there like completely unbothered.
Yeah.
That's fun. The thing that like wound up really striking me about like this whole like progression of events is they're like working through the forest on foot, like trying to like sneak up on the sound forest that like even beyond the extent to which Kidomaru has his like secret spider threads that they're all stepping on and alerting him to their position. They just are not doing a very good job. They like keep stopping to like yell at each other and shit.
Yeah.
like again, like I do not know how deliberate this is, because like ultimately like in the like narrative language of the show, like the thing that like gets them discovered is the fact that like Kidomaru has his spider threads. But like I do kind of like this the way that this like winds up really seeming like, oh yeah, these are just fucking kids. They don't know shit.
Yeah.
Like they're so fucking out of their depth here.
They're so out of their depth.
They don't have a fucking like adult go shh sometimes.
Yeah. Here is another version of events, right? They go to check out that fight from earlier. They find the Jonin still licking their wounds, and they're like, all right, you kids need to go home. This is over.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, right. Like
you kids are out of your depth with these guys. Like you got to go.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure something else out.
Yeah.
Lucky that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, we would have a fucking story then.
Yeah.
The other thing I really like in the season, like, one of the various things that like inspire, like that leads to them like yelling at each other is like there is a moment where like after Neji earlier in the episode being like, oh shit, Naruto has a new jutsu internally, like he just starts bragging about like his new jutsu that he totally has for real.
Oh yeah. God,
it's just so funny.
Does he?
I don't know if he does. Like.
Right, because like
I don't remember Kiba's fight like well if he actually has like a big new thing. I think he might like have like a fused two-headed dog form, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Like I basically don't remember Kiba getting any new shit ever.
Yeah, like he just spins around in the air.
Yeah, he just gets better at his dog stuff. God, can I reiterate something about Akamaru?
Absolutely.
I am so sad that Akamaru gets so big after the time skip.
Yeah.
Akamaru just works so much better as a little puppy. I'm sorry. It's just true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand dogs grow up that fast.
Yeah.
Right.
What if he was just a little dog?
Yeah, right. Like, I understand like a 3-year-old dog is basically like an adult-sized dog. However, what if an adult-sized Akamaru was still just like kind of a little puppy?
Yeah, oh my god. That would be great.
Yeah, it'd be pretty good.
Or what if Kiba becomes like a 2 dogs guy and he has Akamaru, but he also has like another little puppy.
Oh, that's pretty good. He just like he just
and that's his new attack is he has like fucking 3 fang over fangs.
Oh my god. Right, because like they like realistically speaking, like they'd have to like have a rotation of dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because of how long dogs are.
I know you mean like lifespan, but like. Yeah, sorry, my dog got too stretched out. He needs to rest for a while.
Yeah. Right, because like once a dog starts getting to like 9 or 10, they start slowing down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, like when Kiba is around in Boruto, right? Like Hakamaru is just kind of like fucking chilling and like sleeping, right? Like, you know, he's like hanging around, but like he's not doing like big attacks. And part of that is like I don't think Kiba ever fucking does anything in that show. Kiba is like the guy that takes like the longest to show up again in Boruto out of like all of the like rookie 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it would be so fun. It's just like after the time skip, like Kiba like has like a grown up Akamaru and a new puppy, and then in Boruto he could have like 5 dogs.
Oh my god.
And like Akamaru is just this like sleepy old grandpa. It's so good.
Oh my god, that'd be so cute. But yeah, like they managed to like close in on the Sound Four, who are all just like lying around talking, like, yeah, we used our curse marks. We're like too tired to move for a bit, and like Neji and Shikamaru are like hiding in a bush again. Like, all right, we totally got the fucking drop on him. What's our move now? Well, let's figure it out. And they just get a fucking bomb kunai thrown at them immediately.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's where the episode ends.
Yep.
If they get fucking owned.
All right, moving on. Episode 112, Squad Mutiny. Everything falls apart. Shikamaru says they're just here to negotiate, but Kitamaru yanks the other boys out of the woods with spider threads. Kiba throws a smoke bomb, and Shikamaru uses it to get the sound guys with shadow possession. Shikamaru couldn't have accounted for Ukon, though, and has to break the jutsu to avoid shuriken. Jirobo traps the boys in an earth dome. Kiba tries to bore a hole through the wall, but it regenerates. Neji uses his special eyes to see that the dome is sapping everyone's chakra, too.
But yeah, so Shikamaru just fucking like lands on his face in front of the Sound Four. He gets back and be like, yeah, we're here just to talk. And Kitamaru's like, okay, you got other fucking guys here. And like, Shikamaru's just desperately trying to get any fucking ground here, and like trying to like act like he is in control of the situation even a little bit, right? Like like, you know, Kiba throws a smoke bomb, it doesn't fucking achieve anything because like Kitamaru doesn't need to like look at them to know where they are, because of the spider threads. And like, but then Shikamaru's like, okay, yeah, but like, I totally got you with my shadow possession. This was my plan all along, which is like, I mean, you know, it's like good thinking to be able to get that out so fast, right? But like, let's be real here.
I don't know. I think it's fair to say like a contingency that they had was just like, okay, like if it comes to it, like just throw a smoke bomb and I'll get them with like shadow possession, right? Like that's I don't know. That's fair. Like. Mm-hmm. The smoke bomb is the signal. When you're ready, we're gonna like open up with that.
Yeah, okay, I could see that. But like, you know, regardless, shadow possession does not last long.
No, it turns out one of the guys has another guy.
You know, because they hadn't seen them before, Shikamaru doesn't know how to like count like how many heads Sakon has at the moment to like figure out some shit's up. So he just gets hit by shuriken, and then they all get put in fucking rock prison.
They all get put in an orb. Yeah,
and like, if I was in the fucking like Studio Puro offices and like I got assigned this episode as like a fucking like scriptwriter or like whatever, I would be like, I would be so fucking relieved, right? Because like, you put those boys in rock prison, you don't have to have fucking anything else happen for the rest of the episode until they get out of rock prison. You could just fucking like coast through that one and like go home early that day.
Yeah, what's the framing? They're standing around in rock prison. Okay, got it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, like, they say the things they do in the manga, and they're standing in the rock prison still.
Easy.
It's like, I mean, this half of the episode, especially, I feel like I just don't have a ton to say about, really, right? Because like, once they get put in the fucking dome, then they're in the dome, basically, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you know, keep
you want to just like move on and then talk about it all in one go?
I mean, there's like one other thing I want to say in this half of the episode where like, you know, I do like that like Kiba like tries to like break out initially with his attack, like his one attack that he has, and he just like watches the hole like fucking go away that he made, and then like there's like a pause. And he like looks over to like, they're just like, hey, you see that shit? And I'm just like, yes, I'm the guy that sees shit.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But yeah, like, we can just move on to the second half of this episode.
Okay. Kiba's not waiting around and tries to bust out some more, but all the craters he leaves close themselves back up. Shikamaru notices that some are closing slower than others, and Naruto can't focus enough for the Rasengan while his chakra is being sapped. Shikamaru tries to strike a deal with Jirobo. Naruto and Kiba get mad and accuse him of betraying them, but Choji tells them to shut up. Shikamaru was trying to figure out where Jirobo was to confirm his suspicion that the barrier is weaker on the opposite side of Jirobo. They deduce the weak point, and have Choji bust a hole through the barrier.
Right, so, I mean, this is yeah, I mean, obviously this is the half of the episode where like things are resolved in, but there is just still like a lot of what just feels like killing time, right? Um,
Yeah.
I mean, like when Kiba tries to bust out again, it just looks like a full 30 seconds of him ricocheting around inside of the orb. And you know, I forgot to mention this in the previous half of the episode, but like before Neji like uses the Byakugan, it like there's like just this like 20-second cut where the camera just like rotates around all of the boys standing in a circle before Kiba does it. It's like, why is this happening? It is the most like, yeah, okay, they're gonna get out of the orb at the end of the episode. We just have to fucking kill time until then.
Yeah.
You know, shit's just looking really bad. So like Shikamaru, like, you know, he like starts executing his plan, and like, I know the explanation for why Shikamaru is like doing his whole fake betrayal thing,
Mm-hmm.
but the drama feels a little bit like the drama where like Naruto and Kiba are because they're like kind of the same guy and like dumb in the same way, are like, oh my god, he's really betraying us, like. And the fact that like Shikamaru like takes this specific tack, it feels a little bit like it's like a fake tension that is trying to be constructed for the audience, because it is not like Shikamaru is like having a hard time getting Jirobo to respond to something. The first thing he directly addresses to him, he responds to, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then he just like escalates it and like starts acting like he is being mean to the other people trapped in the dome with him.
Well, I mean, the answer for that one is that Shikamaru can be a funny bitch sometimes.
Okay, I guess it's like a prank, right?
And as soon as he learns he's gay, he's going to be able to wield that much more powerfully.
God. Right, but like in the like, if it's a prank, that's fine. But in the episode, like, yeah, he had to deceive us too to be able to deceive Jirobo, and it's like, no, that guy just talked to you when you started talking to him.
Yeah, he just talked.
Like, you could just ask him how his day was going, probably, and be like, pretty good. I've been eating all your chakra, lol.
Well, I guess we're going to die pretty soon there. What's your name? Jirobo?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, none of us are named Jirobo, so that's the fun thing we don't have in common with each other.
Hey, let's guess how to spell each other's names.
God. You want to play fucking Shiratori or something? I don't know. I mean, we're just hanging out here, right? Like, we're not going anywhere.
Alternatively, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe Jirobo is like, yeah, all right, kid. I think it's super funny that you're like betraying your friends. I'm gonna let you out, and then he could do something from the outside. You know, like you know, I'm not gonna write off that possibility.
What is Shikamaru going to do in that situation, though? Like, realistically speaking. Like, I guess he could. I mean, I guess it would be pretty easy for him to do that situation. He could just get him with the shadow possession and like walk away from the dome, and then the dome stops having like chakra put in it or whatever.
Yeah, right. Because
like,
it's just the one guy. Shikamaru is the best against like the one guy, right? Especially the one guy who has to like have his hands against a dome to like.
Yeah. No, actually, yeah. If he was like, yeah, that's pretty funny. Then like, I mean, pretty weak play from Jirobo. But like, if it works, it works.
Right. Like you got to shoot your shot, right?
Right, like you know, if that worked, then like everybody would know how funny Shikamaru is being, and they would all like pat him on the back about it.
Yeah, yeah, but like everybody's being so mean to Choji.
Like, yeah, like literally, like fucking. I cannot believe it, right? Like fucking. like Choji is like, you know, like he sees that like Shikamaru is like trying to figure something out. Like he knows that he is the guy who can hit the hardest. So like it's probably like he's the guy who like needs to have his energy like you know up for like doing that attack. So he sits down. He like starts eating a little bit. He tries to get focused. And everybody's just like, this fucking useless idiot that we have here who just likes eating when he's afraid. What a fucking dumbass. It's like, guys, chill the hell out. Like,
right, like
why are we doing this?
You know, again, right, like, they know that Choji's, like, clan exists. Like, they know about Choji's family, right? Like, they know that they do that shit on purpose. Like, they know that, like...
right, like...
Like, it's not a secret. It's a big family.
Yeah, and they get big also.
Yeah, very funny.
You can't miss them.
Yeah, you cannot miss them.
It is like the hardest technique to keep a secret when you're like showing it off, because you just become a very big man.
Yeah,
it's just like it's just frustrating, right? Like I wish people were nice to Choji. Like Choji's just a fucking. I don't know, like Choji's just like a fucking nice dude, you know? Like
yeah, Choji's a nice dude and like kind of a badass.
Like whenever Choji just gets to be like friends with somebody and they're not like fucking like being extremely demeaning to somebody, it's just like you get the sense that he's just like a fucking sweet kid. it's like then he's like kind of sensitive about how like mean everybody can be to him sometimes, right? But like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, why wouldn't he be? You know, like,
Yeah, because everybody's mean to him all the time. Right?
it's just fucking sad. It's like, come on, guys. Like, I get that it's a stressful situation. I get that a big guy is standing outside of like a rock prison, he's slurping you all up like soup. But like, just like, I don't know, have a little care for your friend Choji, maybe.
Yeah. Your friend Choji, who is like the heaviest hitter in the group right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, that is a fact that everybody knows. Like, it is repeated throughout these episodes that, like, yeah, okay, like, Choji is the heaviest hitter. Like,
Yeah, like, every time anybody is, like, going over the, like, strengths of the, like, team, like, somebody's like, yeah, Choji, like, could hit harder than any of us could.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. So they do this little thing where they, like, work together, except for Naruto, to, figure out where, like, the exact weak point is.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have Choji bust that fucker down.
Yeah, and then they get out, and then the episode ends, and that's I don't know. Again, like what more can you say? That's just the episode. This is.
Yep.
This is an episode about getting in and then getting out of a big stone dome, and that's what you get sometimes.
That's what you get sometimes. All right, do we like have anything to say about it?
No, not really. Right? Like I feel like we set it apart. Right? We talked about like. You know, like I can't really think of anything else.
All right, well, what are we watching next week?
So next week we're going like a little bit lighter. It's going to be our like 1-2 episode week of the arc. We are watching episodes 113 and 114, which are going to be like Choji and Jirobo fighting.
Okay.
Like hopefully we'll have enough to say about that. Like I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. And hey, if you can't wait, you can check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/Konoha Crush, all one word, Konoha Crush. Just $3 a month, you get access to episodes up to a week early. $5, you get the access to our bonus show, Narukai Uzumaki. Our Danmachi episode is like still out, but now we're working on watching the show for the next one that we're gonna be watching. What's the exact wording on that fucker?
That time I got reincarnated as a slime, I believe.
Yeah, that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
I'm gonna be real with you. I just thought I can type in Tensor if I'm trying to find information about it.
Yeah, yeah, right? I don't know. Fuck, the fucking titles of these shows. Like, fucking, nope, you know, who cares? And probably somebody cares.
Yeah, like everyone's like, yeah, so people say slime isekai, right? Like, nobody when they're talking about it is like typing out the whole thing.
Yeah. Fucking anyway, we're gonna be talking about that one. You know, and like also, I want to offer a very special thanks to our Journey tier patrons, Maple, Izzy, featured Jinchuriki of the Six-Tailed Beast, and friend of the show, Rife. Check out their streams at twitch.tv/subspaceskater, all one word, Subspace Skater. Also, any images we talk about during the show can be found on our Twitter, twitter.com/Konoha Crush, all one word, Konoha Crush. And I stream on Twitch. That is...
You do?
Yeah. Twitch.tv/GuinevereTeef, GuinevereTeef. You know, there's there's like the art and like the Elden Ring as usual, but recently we started streaming Armor Astir, like a tabletop RPG, powered by the apocalypse. If you know what that means, it's like it's a lot of fun with Gray being the director, the GM for that, and just like, you know, Maria's there and like I'm there and we have like a couple other friends including Rife, who I shouted out earlier, and just like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, you know, if that's something that you would be like interested, like an actual play like RPG stream, totally check that out. It's on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. Eastern. And, you know, I mean, that's basically it. Do you have anything to shout out?
I mean, I'm on your streams a lot. I am on the Armor Astir game. That's basically it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. So, thanks for listening. And remember, there's no such thing as filler.